be civically responsible. Prepare our children alone. It will take primary. In my opening remarks, there that legislation will phase with pathways, and I'm English, a signature. Keep in mind that we're talking that it's going to be brought forward will also establish an students addressed in a that legislation from a 3-tier to 2-tier and senior signature school, and as everyone to private schools, so that when a student enters primary without making any a transition will be for the city. Will continue. And the expense be added to our schools. Learning. We need primary schools. If we reduce them, demographics for each school. If we use for 10 schools rather than 18, Mrs. Whalen at this time so that she can.
Thank you, Commissioner, for and Dr. Simmons, and thank you for remarks, all very interesting. Let me just several social media, or you're on Facebook, or you're listening Zoom, and you wish on so that can help us. This Devonshire consultation meeting on primary schools. And so I had indicated earlier, CITV, you may do so. Observations .menti We are looking forward to your questions, and we you might. So let me just refer to that. Placement of students. More, but they want to know about. They're also Commissioner, is that
when I hear place for a participant and about with this, the system is that require a different education options in a school for the signature school for placement. Parish primary schools with up to 300 students and with a teacher.
Thank you, Commissioner. The other question was because one next question has to do with the participant who said and any upgrades. I'm hazarding a guess that maybe they're asking changes to the curriculum and what there would be.
As he leads
right now. Stages right now. And what we currently deliver in terms of core curriculum solely. Again, outline curriculum looks like. You use that as an example. And with principles. Using that theme. So and when I said it will have cultural evidence of our children's culture and their day-to-day coexistence. It can take on many forms, this particular curriculum, and but person out there inviting our children could be in different
school resources and upgrades.
again in some those competencies we cannot answer proper technology education. Yes, to some degree. And where can we support that teacher in and where can we support that teacher in four walls? Community and environment has to offer each science experience for all of our children. Learning, we must their learning experience.
Thank you very much. Questions that have been posed thus far. It has to do with the aspects of the proposal and the time. Do I need to, should I aspect of the proposal and the
thank you. As I being probably our ninth or when this is, but we're not coming out and saying we have to have a system that is we answer the questions we're talking about tonight, which we go along at what the overall that transition plan looks like. We'll also start to develop the blueprint and the like. And so the and the like. And so September is in the rest need to transpire as we phase in the rest of this. But detailed transition plan that everyone will be able to of what.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Zoom. Share with us. Share with us your comments. Share with us your from you. Yes, Minister.
I want to, of course, being a techno guy, I've got all these screens up YouTube, and I'm looking at the Zoom at the same time.
Okay.
I see there's a question that increase in public schooling, and it is a question that we have gotten previously. And that's not out of our office. 70s. And so we are producing less and less children. In fact, mid 80s, we almost had about double. Also take that to mean that private school. So in 2010 to 2019, school dropped by 16%. Between 2010 and 2019, the enrollment in private school, as some people would think, there is an private and public see this decrease, have seen this decrease.
It has to do with school locations. The participant is asking about so we do you
which schools have been recommended for each parish participants, and then as it relates to lesson plan, they're working on the program. And so as it relates to what will lesson plan, the conversation is taking place now, and involve prototyping and testing as well. Participant get some additional information and lesson planning.
thank you who are online with us tonight. Our host, who has just put it up there for, and I'll to pick one of those circles, and then team is eager. So parish primary schools with one primary school, please indicate. We've gotten a really good response. For parish, 6% say no, and not 13% say they're not sure. Nicely leads us to
Want to share parish primary, share some specific information. I do want to underscore expanded in the consultation document. Refurbished or will be answered. Primary. Start off by one for Bermuda's the learning and the vision capability. And that we needed to think about when your screen, you will see 4 existing building conditions, invitation. Study factors, technical officers. Considered because that has of a particular site. When we talk, I want to rally the parents, looked at the surrounding, we also looked at the surrounding and the proximity to the main road. Likewise, to how close a school at the primary level, coming on par. Higher purpose-built space curricula. And so also, and then with the 7 and P8 being added on, the ability to going to be very important. As it relates will there potential to have lower primary sports program. Body factors that were used when we considered primary schools. Schools and the scores were tallied. We're one newly built and one new school per parish with 2 zone. So proposals, 1 per parish. Zone. I'll talk about a couple out get finished sharing about drilling down and giving some specific to the St. George's Parish. The Western Zone. Somerset Primary is the proposed parish. 2, it has a larger available expansion and to accommodate up to 3 large playing field school on its site. So we propose Somerset Primary as the as we make our primary, Port Royal Primary, and Delton E. Out of the 3 school locations, and it out and property. It to accommodate that vision. School is adjacent to Delton E. Tucker. So we propose Delton E. Tucker. And we therefore propose to close Port Royal and school in its parish, and so we will look to develop. So let's move to the Central Zone, and we will primary, and we have Gilbert Institute. Paget Primary is the recommended institute, and we'll know that it has an extensive acreage behind. So therefore, we propose Paget Primary as we are proposing 2 primary schools and West Pembroke Primary are recommended as scores. Both schools have land potential for expansion, and Victor Scott school. No restrictions and limited potential for expansion. As the parish primary school. As stated, I will come back to Devonshire and we'll talk more. Eastern Zone are the only schools in their parish, their respective primary schools. And so we moved to St. Easton, St. David's, and St. George's Preparatory is the recommended parish school location as it to land and property. Out of the 3 schools, development and particularly parish school, St. David's primary, and St. George's Preparatory School. Parish. Proposal exceptionality signature school. There's a need for consider Devonshire Parish school that can school on primary, and we are proposing to introduce an alternative education site of Elliott Primary. So we are looking at it on the site of the K. Roberts Avenue. Proposed to introduce an exceptionality signature primary. We propose to repurpose Academy, and we always refer to it as Dame. We serve as the new location for the K. Margaret Carter Center, which from 18 to over 50 years of age and who have learned need a 21st century programs and services to exceptional they become adults. It has many that are needed. At day. So therefore, we're proposing that exceptionalities. And I do want to share recommending the continuum of services. Primary is located near Dame. Prospect site to be centrally located. because many of the children important for the school to be located near the hospital. Purposed as a exceptionalities. And then we would like to introduce service children with the island, and to all an alternative education opposed to construct and exceptionality. Prospect Primary, we propose to close Prospect component of the second part. Sites that in the location for the parish primary schools. That is so critical. That was the potential. Also have a preschool or and development still have lots of
questions, so we don't have to dwell. And further details on which parish primary one onwards. And also, with respect to Devonshire, Commissioner, and let me go to those questions now. Question on Menti. Thank you very much for this question. The autism or special programs, regular classroom. It's a nice segue because you were talking about
Thank you for the question. Who are currently in our primary schools. Shared earlier, the more being at a parish primary school, and we would be looking at an age and to, you know, the alternative then from lower available. And let me determine, you know, what the school. We will definitely use the create opportunities to hear from educators, to hear going to, you know, co-create and bring determine what are the best options for all children, including. I hope that helped answer our participants' question.
Commissioner has spoken to there, because it's very has spoken to when you, and like we said, all of our children, students, their education, individualized education plans. Well, there's a personalized learning commissioner spoke to that will what is in the best interest of that child's learning.
Thank you, Dr. Simmons. That is most important to parents. ESD. And that's a nice thing. To engage our local community.
Your policy analyst online. So what our children, there will be opportunities around that, certainly will be.
And may I just add to that? Everyone, I just want to take to page 50. For special services, particularly of the Dame Marjorie being hopefully recommended in conjunction with the exception that we do plan members of and parents of, they are invited to voice their concerns or questions.
This the focus of the 2B. What will did talk about that.
What I can do, and thank you again for the local research. And we're excited about, you know, the part to share that will be for.
Commissioner, here's from this. I believe it's a great step forward. Transform teachers' instructional instrumental, this would be
I have it. The talked about it. And I think the question in the have teams who are looking at curriculum and professional participant to ask the of all the training critical to change. And so I just want to reassure everyone that development, that program for our and this new vision of learning.
and this question was posed. For a report, find the data of the score report.
Accessed on the
Okay, thank you. The mentee, will the children during the proposed upgrades to the schools?
and questions.
Opening statement. The simple answer to that is is going. To us that, the reason, one of the reasons we know while we're trying and so we have these two things in the future. And so that is why a transition plan also has to take into account what cause any disruption. Another, while, for example, while a school, but we also look at, there are some opportunities for us to build on existing point where we made the critical decisions on in a better position to talk about what at this point, it's a question that cannot be answered per se forward. And just someone in the has had their hand up for quite a bit.
So thank you, Minister. The data team did make me aware. I'd like to hear them, please.
My name is Deshae Grant. I'm her child that goes to as to build for Robert suggestion.
Minister, going to field that.
Mrs. Grant for alternative, proposal, and we send in the proposal. Forward to receiving that.
And this question in the downsizing.
Waylon, thank you so much for statements around this is a very sensitive matter, the changes on students and parents, because some students would and so they would have to make some adjustments. Underscore and with the new vision for exciting for staff, but as it relates at this point undertaking a very fair how to best staff schools within to share their views might have. So I hope that helps.
Will the Department of Education year? Thank you very much, Minister. And scrolling that have been sent to us through Facebook website. And so what their thoughts and who have all of you who have not, but you have burning questions that mentee.com. Send your questions to the appropriate person to your questions. the chat who's saying that their question was not addressed. If I've overlooked a question, and I will. I'm scanning Mantee now, just.
Mrs.
Here's, sorry.
On Zoom, they can.
Permanent secretary.
Yes.
Thank you. Does the person? She's saying that to the primary school.
Ms. Engaging and educators and parents around that very question. I want to reassure you that the discussions will take place have some input.
Significance play in the decision. And what part did historical significance the decision-making process?
Go back to the study factors that we use. One of the study factors, we considered the necessary to execute that vision for our use study factors that were aligned with the consultation document, and if the data as well.
We are very cognizant. We've pledged to put things in place to capture. What we have done is looked at and selected the school buildings that are best. We may have selected from doing things like renaming schools as necessary. In schools after it doesn't preclude us of these schools recording them and ensuring that they are enshrined for all to see as we move forward. On numerous occasions, that has not diminished. What I have is the bar whatsoever. And so this is something that we are looking to do something that is. Thank you, Ms. Whalen, and thank you, Ms. Richards, for allowing me to.
Another question. Property and should be considered as the site. Space for a two. We posted it on Menti and we. Commissioner, I don't know if you wish to.
For making the, we will capture it as part of this conversation to send in proposal for Devonshire Parish. So please, your
question is, are we moving? Question.
what I thank you again to the particular moving towards child, whether personalities that every needs met and that we have a that is expended the gifts and the so we're going at our children, all children need, and also quality of life overall for to come. That's what we're looking definitely continues to do our children.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Commissioner. We have another question from the main. School day or school activity.
Excited to answer. And when we consider the vision going forward, and again, we're proposing that will benefit our children. So in terms of that is expended. In very exciting and an academic day, actually executing the vision for learning that was shared where students programs that are designed to their interests, their strengths. So that's in terms of the school day. Calendar, again, we will, we look at you to create actual calendar, etc. So there are some
Indeed, there are, and
yes.
you for that. Here's a question. Back to historical significance. Post, and thank you so much. Will the history of Is that a question for you, Dr. Liu?
To say Refer to the minister.
I actually think that's an excellent. Again, as the committee suggestions, this is why we're asking people to send them in by the we can accurately
Yes.
it's a really, really good suggestion. And in the chat, links to the various forms and stuff. Advisement for sure. I think it's
Our viewers on whatever platform you are on, please go your observation. That responds to what that they have with respect. Send them to the Ministry of Education.
If I may ask a question. What are we looking at if we don't make this change?
That's a question for the minister and the commissioner.
Consider what we proposed and what we have to improve what we're doing for our children. And so if our children the educational experience they deserve to prepare the change, it's really, I just think our children to pay.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I'd like to remind our participants during this virtual forum, please know or through not be ignored. So that you have posed,
Yes.
and the ones that we've had the opportunity.
Our consult get my suggestions in. So send
in terms we are listening to all of the responses during the consultation process. Mentee support staff are consistently and continuously, and we will continue. We'll review each and every comment and submission, including those related to Elliott Primary parents saying submissions by parent. Background information process, and we absolutely at the end of the current school year, although to give appropriate slides, and I'd like to turn it back to Mrs. Whalen.
Those of you 24 hours. So you may surface and you want to shape and form it and formulate. Put it on the mentee website, and please know that. And it will, and you will get a response. Robinson James, or the Commissioner of Education, Mrs. Richards. And let me thank you again, because you have asked some really good participation. That tells all of us that this is as important to you as it is to the ministry of children. So thank you to our host, Ms. Question, and it reads, were there during this meeting? That's one question. How would you rate this meeting? Answer both of those questions and then hit the submit. Yes, because where there's room, those two poll questions. First question, that's very encouraging. 86% said yes, there were. Thank you. And 14% are not sure, they're thinking about it. And that's good. This meeting needs we are open to your thoughts and your ideas, and we welcome them. For answering the poll. But the process will continue because there's senior policy analysts indicate the middle of March. Even to get us to this point on research that is based on statistics from especially thank the equally as committed, because education is give.
Am I muted? Oh, I thought Kimberly, thank you, Permanent Secretary, thank you. Oh, also, that for being engaged, really but still has you know, some a bit more information. I'm glad persons on Facebook were very active, and the persons who these types of decisions and the reform to be accepted. A couple of housekeeping notes. There is the consultation form. I want to do the consultation form. There is .bm to send in anything. www.learning. If that there were development, what learning will look like within the classroom. Give you the opportunity. So for the week and weekend that we're
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.